Hello and welcome to the Moonshine Jesus Show, where today we're talking about Spider-Man, Brand New Day. So glad that you can join us today. We are brought to you, as always, by the Center for Progressive Christianity, a wonderful place to learn more about authentic Christianity and to get the resources you need to do that. We're brought to you by the Christian Left, the nationwide ministry and community for Christian progressives and allies, and the Progressive Christian Alliance, a movement and denomination that rallies together around the principles of justice, respect, and inclusion. I'm joined today by Mark Sandlin. How you doing today, Mark?
I am doing great, man. I'm excited to talk about. I always say that I'm excited to talk about the movie, but it's because we're pretty good at choosing movies. Every once in a while, I'm not so excited about it, but this one, it's up there, man. It's up there. Well, how about you? How are you?
This one is good, unlike The Guardians or whatever that one movie. That was the worst one we've ever picked.
That was
So
easily
I'm
the
not going to
worst.
say any more about it because I don't want anyone to go look it up and
Right, go
accidentally
see it.
watch that movie. But Spider-Man Brand New Day is
Go
an
watch it.
incredible movie. You
Absolutely.
all should go watch that. And if you haven't seen it, one thing I should let you know is that we will be talking about it in detail. So that means that we will spoil it for you. There will be
You better
spoilers
believe it.
here.
Yes, indeed.
So if you haven't seen it, you don't want spoilers, just know that you can bookmark this and come back to it. But before we get into it, we're really
Yes.
going to need some drinks to enjoy this
Absolutely.
experience fully. What do you
Makes
got, Mark?
sense. I am doing something I'm calling a red bourbon spider bite. It is bourbon. Since he's gone with his new suit with the kind of cherry red, I've gone cherry liqueur, a little bit of lemon juice, and some grenadine. And so it comes out with a nice, almost reddish kind of tint to it. How about you? What did you decide to go with?
So I made something called Forget Me Not, and it has
I like that.
vanilla vodka. It's muddled blueberries, and it's topped with this cherry limeade, the poppy Spider-Man stuff.
Nice.
My daughter likes to drink this. I thought that would be fun to have in there too. So I've got and some blueberries for garnish. So it's blue-ish pink, and it's got some blueberries in there as well. So a forget-me-not, very appropriate for this movie where everyone has forgotten Peter Parker.
Poor Peter.
Poor Peter. Poor Peter. But not poor us. We've got some good drinks, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's take a sip and come back. Cheers, Mark.
Moonshine Jesus, Moonshine Jesus, Moonshine Jesus, Moonshine Jesus, won't you shine a light?
Welcome back. You're joining us for the Geek Out segment of the show where we will let our geek flags fly a bit. We'll try to keep this segment a little shorter than the next segment because that's where the meat of everything is, where we talk about the politics and theology of the show. But for those of you who somehow might not be familiar, this is a Spider-Man Brand New Day. It picks up about 4 years after the last movie, No Way Home, which is great since they filmed it 5 years after it. So it's great, but it's sort of not great because we lose the college years. And I just feel like there's so much that we could have gotten, but I understand why, because of the time jump in real life. The world has forgotten Peter Parker, leaving him completely alone as he embraces life as a full-time, basically, Spider-Man. And he struggles with isolation and danger. And as he does that, a new threat emerges in New York. And Peter is forced to decide what kind of hero he wants to be in a world that no longer knows who he is. Now, this movie has only been out for a week, and in its opening weekend, it has set several records. It's the biggest domestic opening weekend in movie history. The biggest preview night ever, 72 million on the first night. The biggest opening day ever, the second biggest global opening weekend in history, and the biggest opening weekend in 2026 so far. It's absolutely incredible what this movie is doing. I'm curious, a two-part question. What were your impressions? And then just roll on over into where does Brand New Day rank in the Spider-Man movies for you?
Yeah, so it was. This is a great movie. I think it's fun. I think that this was a movie that Marvel needed, and I think that
Mm.
fans needed
Mm.
for this. And it was a great experience. This was also one that had, even if we hadn't been talking about this, it would have been one I would have wanted to go see opening weekend in theaters,
Absolutely.
right? Because
Yeah.
it's one that people are invested in, and this
Oh
is
yeah.
one of
The
these
day
movies
that
too.
the day early tickets were available, I bought
You
the
bought 'em.
earliest ticket, like, for the first day in
Yep.
my town on the first screen that it was playing on. I was sitting there for the same reason. I've been anticipating this like you had.
Well, and it's one that people are invested in. It's fun to go and to have people in Spider-Man outfits and stuff, and to get reactions to the movie in
Mm,
while we're watching it. And so the one scene, Mark, that really was just kind of drove this home for me was whenever Jean Grey was controlling MJ. And MJ's
yeah.
forgotten Peter, and then there's this kiss, and she's like, "Oh, Peter, I remember everything," and the whole theater like erupts. Everyone's like,
Oh,
"Yeah, yeah, yeah," and then she's like, "What, you really thought like a true love's kiss was going to break the
God,
spell?"
that was
And then the
so
whole
good.
theater is like, "No!" And it was fun. It was fun to be in there and to have the fourth film where we're all invested in this. So
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it did what we needed it to do, both in
Yeah.
terms of giving us like a different stage of Spider-Man. I think this is supposed to kick off a new trilogy for Tom Holland,
Mhm.
and I think that we had emotional, the emotional connection to all that to really care. In terms of where I would rank it, in terms of like the Spider-Man, if
Mhm.
we're just talking about like Tom Holland Spider-Man
Let's go.
movies,
I'm talking all 3 of
all
our
of them.
recent. Yeah, yeah, all
Okay,
3 of our
so
our recent ones.
so I think the easiest place to start in ranking is at the bottom. Okay, and so
I I just okay, that's fine. I don't know, that's better than I'm gonna be able to do. I was just gonna tell you where my it falls and what is above it for me.
just what's above, where it is, what's above
Yeah.
it. Okay,
Where
okay,
would you put it and what would you put above it? Or would
okay.
it be
Well,
number 1? Or would it be number 1?
it's not number one for me. And so I'm in a good place to do this, Mark, because I've been rewatching like all the Spider-Man.
I knew you had told me that you were gonna
So
do
like
that, so
not
I'm
just Tom
really
Holland, like
pretty
I got through
curious.
Tom Holland. I'm watching all of them. I watched Tobey Maguire ones, all of them. So I would say that that for me, Brand New Day, I think is my, or sorry, I think No Way Home, the last
Uh-huh.
one, is my favorite,
Yeah.
and I think Spider-Man 2 is
Yeah.
above it.
Yeah.
That's one of the best
One of the
superhero sequels we've ever gotten,
movies
and
ever.
it holds up still. Like I said, I went through and rewatched it.
Yeah.
I would s- I would say that probably Homecoming is next for me, and this one
Mhm.
for me, Brand New Day, is about equivalent to Far From Home.
Okay.
So I would put it roughly equivalent of Far From Home. How about for you?
Yeah.
Where do you put it?
Well, I put it number 3, and I put Raimi's Spider-Man 2 as number 1, and I don't
Number
think that
one.
the other movies come close to it. I really do think that's one of the best superhero movies ever made.
Yeah,
It's just,
great
it's
movie.
so brilliant the way that he puts Spider-Man up against Doc Ock, and they kind of mirror each other in some ways, and
Yeah.
just the whole, we really get the internal struggle from Spider. I love it. I'm with you. No Way Home is next on that list easily. And for me, Brand New Day really does fit in there right there. But it's interesting that I put it so high up when I think back over the Spider-Man movies, because my gut reaction when the first few people asked me, well, what'd you think of this, is I loved it. I had the best
Yeah.
time. I like what they did with it. And we can, as we talk, we can talk about some of the things that I really thought they did well, that they got back to. But it's weird. Unlike the other 2 movies I just named, I didn't walk out of that theater thinking, I can't wait to go back to the theater and see this again.
Mm, yeah.
I want to see it again, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I didn't feel the urge of I need to do it at the theater. And I don't know what that was really all about. Why?
Do you think? I kind of I had some similar experiences about that, and I wonder if it has to do with the fact that it ends without any emotional resolution. Uh,
It
that,
could be that. Yeah,
because
it doesn't end on a high note.
no, I mean we end with Ned remembering Peter,
It
but what we
almost
all
feels like it's a let off. Like the end of it's almost like we're wrapping things up with him standing in that crowd, seeing them
yeah
cheer for him,
yeah
and Punisher up there pretending to be him. And it's almost like the perfect ending to a trilogy, right? So
yeah
maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
yeah,
So,
and I guess I wanted to see MJ remember him, and
yeah,
we get Ned remembering him, and we've got Jean Grey, and like whenever there's the reveal that I mean everyone kind of knew Sadie Sink was playing Jean
right.
Grey, right?
We
But
were,
when
we were 90% sure that was going to be the
Ni
case. Yeah.
right, right, and so whenever we see her, do that, we get that
Yeah.
reveal, I kind of thought, I'm like, Jean Grey is going to unblock these memories, and
Ah,
that's not what we got, and so
yeah.
I think, for me, I'm like, "Oh, okay, Jean Grey, they're gonna make all this up, she's gonna unblock the memories, and that's how it's gonna end." That's not how it ended.
Yeah. Well, so the name of it is Marvel chose the name Brand New Day for this, and
Yeah.
that's actually the name. It comes from a somewhat recent comic book series that was Brand New Day after one new day, and then they rolled into Brand New Day. And that Brand New Day, it's sort of, at least in the comic books, it's sort of soft rebooted Spider-Man. So it makes sense. Brand New Day, all right, soft
Mhm.
reboot. When the credits rolled at the end of this one, did it actually feel like this was a brand new beginning for Peter Parker, or was it just another Spider-Man sequel?
I think we got a different version of Spider-Man. I think we did get to see him go into adulthood a little bit.
Hmm.
Uh, and certainly he had a different kind of experience. I think one of the things that is hard is that this particular Spider-Man is I guess this is always Spider-Man, but this particular Spider-Man so connected to MJ and Ned that like
Yeah,
having him disconnected from MJ and Ned is a whole different thing. So it
it
did
absolutely
feel
is.
different. It felt like a
Yeah,
different kind of movie,
yeah,
but I think at the end it did feel like we were heading back on the path to what we've been
right.
doing. How about you?
Yeah, I kind of agree. It to me, it did feel like a new Spider-Man in that we really stayed on the street. We really didn't talk a whole
Mm,
lot about the multiverse and that kind of
yeah,
thing. There was a couple references, but we stayed away from that. It was really down and dirty on the streets, not too much high tech, just what he could come up with on his own kind of thing as a smart science kid. Um, and I liked that, and I was really hoping that would be kind of like the DNA that we were going to start carrying along, get back to what really makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. It's part of why Raimi's Spider-Man 2 works so well, because it really was about his
yeah,
internal struggle and all of that, matching the life he wanted with the life of being a Superman, superhero. Um, and then at the very end, the trailer at the very very end, when we see him go from Earth to space, I was
yeah.
like, wow, we got that for 2 full hours, and that's it, because now we're off into
Spider-Man
Secret
in
Wars.
space.
Yeah, it's like Secret Wars or something. I was so happy that this one was on the streets, and how they end it by putting him in space. And so I don't know. So I do. What do you think? Does the sort of smaller scale story work better than the multiverse spectacle kind of thing for Spider-Man?
I think the individual Spider-Man movies work well in that way. Yeah, he's your friendly neighborhood
Hmm.
Spider-Man. And so I think that's one of the things that's compelling about Spider-Man is he's connected to the city of New York and to doing kind of localized localized things instead of, saving the entire universe. I think it's fun to pull him in to larger narratives, Avengers narratives, and things
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, one of the strengths of Spider-Man is that he is like dealing with ordinary everyday problems too,
Yeah.
and that finds its way into how he is a superhero. And so I think that is one of the things that's fun about that. And that I think you're right. Whenever we're doing something larger than that, there's some stuff that maybe is taken away. What
Yeah.
do you think?
No, I definitely think that that's the case. I think that his particular kind of superhero works better without all the grand, massive battles and all of that kind of thing. Because what works for Spider-Man is the very real, but at the same time, very localized internal struggle of what he wants from life, but what he knows he needs to do as a superhero, and that gets dwarfed when you start putting him in these massive, giant Avengers style battles. It just that part kind of goes away, and I think it's the charm and the thing that we love about Spider-Man. So I wish that there was a way to keep it mostly that, and every once in a while pop into a Avengers movie and play up how much out of place he feels in that place. Not, there was that one battle on the airport strip where we did hear him.
War.
Yeah, where we did hear him saying, "Oh my God, what are we doing here?"
I got Cap's shield. I took Cap's shield.
That works.
Fish out of water.
When they go take him past, I don't like it. One last question: Punisher and Spider-Man are really kind of a strange pair. Did you think it worked?
I actually really liked it. So I thought it, because I was thinking the whole time that I was watching Punisher. I'm like, okay, we talked about, what was it, One Last Kill, and we're both like, okay, well, what's the point of that? And is he going to play any part in Spider-Man? And what's that even going to look like? And I thought this did a really good job of humanizing the Punisher, and I kind of like the odd pairing between Spider-Man, who's traditionally like this hopeful, kind of optimistic, bright-eyed kid, and Punisher, who's this emotionless killing machine, or driven by anger and sadness, and revenge and all this. That, like, putting those two together is not a pairing I ever would have done. But I thought it was funny. I thought it played for comedic value, and I thought it really made me like Punisher more, especially that scene you mentioned where he's standing up in the window, like waving at Spider-Man. Like he cares.
Now there's officially now 4 actors who have played Spider-Man in Spider-Man movies, because you got to add him. You got to add him in now.
That's right. He's played Spider-Man. How about you? Did you think it worked? Did you like it?
I think it was brilliant. I was very anxious about it when I heard it was going to be happening. Yeah. The odd couple pairing, the kind of mirror image, like reverse mirror image, like everything Spider-Man is, Punisher isn't. The tension that creates between the two of them is fantastic. Their off-screen relationship helped make it work, because the two of them are actually best buddies. They actually they're really tight. They actually helped each other film their audition tape to become a Marvel superhero. They were they were in each other's apartment or whatever, and they filmed and kind of helped each other plan out what they should do.
Okay, well, that definitely came across, because it was like fun to watch them. I guess kind of like Tom Holland and Zendaya, right? I mean, it's like real life chemistry that makes you like actually care about them as a couple.
Yeah. So, listen, you can tell from the excitement we just had from that weird question about Punisher and Spider-Man that we could go on forever geeking out about this, but we don't need to do that, because we really do need to get on to talking about politics and theology. So let's take a quick drop, have a quick drink, and catch everybody on the other side.
Welcome back to the Moonshine Jesus Show. We have geeked out a little bit. We have poured a drink, and now it's time to get into the theology and politics. We've warmed up plenty, Mark, and it's time to get in there.
I might be a little too warmed up at this point. I don't know.
Is there such a thing? I don't know.
No, with me, not usually.
Okay, so I want to start here, Mark. Peter
Yeah.
puts his trust in an institution that he thinks is looking out for him, and he thinks is looking out for the best interests of the people of New York. And
Yeah.
it turns out that they are, in fact, not looking out for him, and probably not looking out for the best interests of others, but are interested in wielding power. So,
Yeah.
question, Mark, can you draw some parallels for us in the modern society, places where that's happening?
I can, but I'm not sure how familiar most people are with this organization. It's called the U.S. government.
I've never heard of it. Is that?
Yeah. It used to be big. It used to be big, but it's
No,
suffered.
It's great.
suffered.
It is the greatest government that we have ever had. It is the most beautiful, perfect thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they've suffered a few setbacks, so they're not as popular as they once were. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you were asking the question, folks who were really genuine about being MAGA Christian nationalists at the early stages, who really did believe, for better or worse, I'm not agreeing with them, but that what was going to happen was going to be good for everybody, and that they were in this to make sure everything was. And I think they went in there with that full expectation. Now we've seen, boy, have we seen them starting to drop like flies. And I don't mean from COVID. I mean that they've just started realizing that this isn't working, and it's hurting me, and it's hurting the people that's closest to me. And sometimes that's what it takes, unfortunately. There's the movement worked hard to have a loss of empathy, and we did see that. And so it took people close to them. But yeah, I mean, obviously that's what we're seeing in the U.S. government, whether we're talking about the FDA, whether we're talking about it, just pick a space, and what was supposed to be there for the good of the citizens is very clearly there to serve itself and the powerful. And that is a biblical no-no. That is one of the biggest things that Jesus took issue with, is when the powerful step on those who don't have access to power, all in order to build themselves up. There's other ones as well, but that's the glaring one, right?
No, I can't believe you said that. The government, Mark. Where's your patriotism?
I carry my passport on me just in case.
I mean, it's sad that you can literally say pretty much any government institution at this point, and the Department of Education.
Absolutely. Oh man,
even the places we have put
we still have
our
that.
trust in.
That's almost not a joke.
I don't know. Do we?
I think
is it still there?
It is.
Do we have a
It is
director?
just barely there. They have dismantled it so much that I'm not sure how effective it is in any level at all. I mean, locally, I'm sure it's in a lot of local. I'm sure it's fine but when you talk on the national level, it's been dismantled so much. Yeah.
I guess since you talked about politics, I'll also talk about the church. That the church is also an institution that is supposed to have our best interests at heart, right? That the church is supposed to be the place where we are striving to follow Jesus Christ, and yet the church also often is not actually concerned about people who are vulnerable. We see example after example about places where the church, throws people under the bus, doesn't look out for the vulnerable, and protects people in power. And that is contrary to absolutely everything that Jesus taught. And so I think, I think so many people, especially in America, talk about Jesus as the source of salvation and belief, and this path to eternal life. And we miss this whole thing about Jesus confronting the religious authorities and confronting the political authorities, and maybe we could use a little bit more of that. So Mark, Peter sacrifices his own relationships for to save the world, basically, right? Uh, and I'm curious. There are a lot of people who are willing to like do some self-sacrifice and stuff like. Is there a point at which self-sacrificing becomes unhealthy? Because we talk a lot about like
Right.
sacrifice in the church. Is there a point at which that's like maybe not a good thing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you care about folks, you're always going to make sacrifices. I mean, that's part of what love looks like, is that you're willing to make some sacrifices for the betterment of this other person, for the happiness of this other person. There is a point at which you're hurting yourself when you make too many sacrifices. And that's where the line starts becoming, you've got to pay closer attention. But I think the bigger issue is the communities in which we are set, who expect us to make those kind of giant sacrifices, or allow us to make those kind of giant sacrifices, rather than picking it up as a community and doing whatever it's going to take, that the outcome that you're making a sacrifice to reach, a community can get in on it and put it in a place where your sacrifices to that extent are not necessary. So I think there's a two-level problem here. It's a personal, knowing where your boundaries are and making sure that you're not hurting yourself, and two, being in a community that's willing to step in and be part of the outcome that you're trying to achieve. That's my thought. I don't know what.
I think that's a good nuancing of that. And yeah, there's certainly, I personally, there are places where like you can kill yourself trying to
Mhm.
help others and stuff, and not take care of yourself. And boundaries are
Yep.
healthy, I think, as you said. And then we can also, in an attempt to save systems, uh, can can allow ourselves to enter unhealthy spaces as
Mhm.
well. I mean, even like political systems. Like there's a point at which we have to know at what level we can engage and what level we can enact
Yeah.
change, and what is beyond what we're capable of
Yeah.
doing. And so we're not all Spider-Man.
Oh,
And I mean, I think we maybe you are. You got the
no,
webs?
not
No,
yet. Not
no.
yet. No.
You're growing them.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I keep checking.
Okay, so Peter also in this, he's made a decision,
Mm.
right? In the last one, in No Way Home, everybody forgets who Peter Parker
Mhm.
is. And in and we see at the end of that he walks away. He doesn't tell MJ or Ned who he is, what they've been through. They all forget. And then through a significant portion of Brand New Day, we see Peter not interacting with people, giving
Mhm.
them the what he thinks is the best life that he can give them. So I'm curious, is that the compassionate thing to do in this situation? And I genuinely don't know.
Um,
Is it compassionate to make that choice for them, or is it more compassionate to like give them the information and let
right.
them make choices for themselves?
Uh, it's definitely more compassionate to give them the information and let them make choices for themselves. It is much more difficult. So that's true on a day-to-day basis. It is much more difficult when what you're talking about is life and death. Um,
Yeah.
because there is a part of, if they choose to be with me and put their self at risk, can I live with that? Can I be okay with that? In a superhero parlance, it's like, will I be as good of a superhero if my focus is I have these gifts, and with them come great responsibility? Will I be able to see them out? So I mean, it's an odd question to try to answer, because we're putting it in a false reality that will never exist for anyone. And in that reality, I'm like,
Maybe
it's
not for
kind of an,
you.
oh, fair enough, fair enough. I will say, you've never
Yeah.
seen me and Batman in the same room. I'm going to leave it there. But you,
It's
but
true. I haven't.
right,
I've solved
see,
the mystery.
but I do think that there is a nuance going on here. In that situation, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's so hard to put yourself in a situation that will never happen. But in general, yes, it's always better to recognize someone's personal autonomy and say, here's the deal. Here's what I'm scared of. Here's what I'm worried about. And I'm willing to step away from this for your protection, or to just not have to deal with this crap. And then let them make the choice. What do you think? I mean, it is weird, right? To try to
yes. I mean, obviously we're not ever going to, I don't think, have to have the whole multiverse at stake, or people, forgetting who we are and all this. But I will say that the times when I have withheld information thinking that I am helping people, it has almost never really been helpful.
I think that's fair.
And it has been that, like, whenever the information comes out, that it's always more helpful to be transparent about things. And that's a lesson that I've learned multiple times. Like, it's like being transparent, trusting people with information, I think is it's an act of vulnerability, but it also is an act
and
of
I think
of
it's
trust.
a great lesson, and it's easier on a personal level to learn it. I think institutionally, it's also an important lesson that's very seldomly learned.
Oh yeah, because institutions, they just want to protect themselves, and it seems like institutions are not often very concerned with transparency. They're concerned with survival. And I'll tell you, I think in a weird way, because churches are the worst at this, I think churches would be doing so much better if they were transparent about everything.
100%.
If instead of hiding things, they would to survive, right? Hiding to survive. If they were transparent about things, I think that people would see them as more authentic, genuine places, and they might find that they could even thrive if they were willing to do things the right way and be transparent.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
But that's antithetical to holding power, so they write rule books to make sure that things are hidden. I'm sorry. I sounded real cynical there.
No.
Me? Sounding cynical?
No.
What?
No. Okay, I've got a lot of questions about theology and politics, because this had a lot to say, Brand New Day. But if I continue asking those questions, we're not going to get to the Make Me Look Stupid segment, and we got to get there. So let's take a break, take a drink, and come back and try and make each other look stupid.
Hello, and welcome to our Make Me Look Stupid segment. This is the segment where we proceed to try to make our co-hosts look stupid by either asking them a question that might stump them, by sometimes actually just make ourselves look stupid by saying, listen, this one got me stumped. I really hope you have the answer. Or making our co-hosts look stupid in the future by asking them to make a prediction. I'm going to take the first of those. And I don't know. It's sort of balanced between the first two of those. My question to you is, why does Ned basically remember Peter, but MJ doesn't?
Well, it's because of the kinesthetic memory, man. That Ned's memory is unlocked through the motion of the secret handshake.
So if
Peter didn't actually get to kiss MJ because she was mind controlled. So
MJ didn't really remember any of that, right?
So as much as Jean Grey made fun of the true love's kiss, that would have unlocked some kinesthetic emotional energy, and then she might have remembered, and so it wouldn't have just been Ned.
Yeah,
she would have been like, Peter.
I guess. That feels a little too fairy tale to me.
What? Come on, Mark.
It is a comic book, though. It is a comic book, so who knows? I think it's somehow connected with what I felt like was one of the biggest oversights of this
Okay.
movie.
Yeah.
And that is that Ned has some tendencies towards magic. Ned was able to open one of the rings and barely without any training.
Yeah.
I think it's a weakness. I'm sorry. A kid in high school who found out that they could freaking do that did not go, I'm gonna, just go study chemistry. They would have been like,
But
what
maybe you
can I do
forgot.
with this?
Maybe that was like a part of the spell. Maybe you forgot about all the magic and things.
They didn't forget anything else. That they just forgot that Peter was
That
there.
Peter was there.
And yeah. So I think it's somehow connected to that he is like some
Magic?
kind of a wizard,
Okay.
and that there was a piece of him that was able, even if he was just like he was able to do the ring without any training. I think maybe there's a piece of him that kind of held on to a little bit of the reality, and I'll give you the kinesthetic maybe open the door that he had held on to. So that's my take on it. I don't know. I need it to be that because there's just no way Ned wouldn't have pursued. Oh, look, I can do magic. I mean,
Look, man, without Peter, he needs Peter to encourage
you are
him to do
way
to do
too hard
this.
to make this work, man.
Have you ever had that one friend who just like, like if you're not around them, they're just not gonna do the same things. They're not gonna. That's Ned. Ned needs his
Magic,
Peter.
dude. Magic.
Magic. He needs
I
magic.
mean, come on. All right.
Okay.
Your turn to take a shot at me, man.
Okay. Hey, Jean Grey. So I don't know what you thought. I love
I was
Sadie
hoping she was
Sink.
going to be in the movie.
Me too. And I thought Sadie Sink was great casting. I like Sadie Sink. Max, my favorite character in Stranger Things.
So good.
So I liked her.
Really, you can see that it wasn't just that Max was so much like, say, the actress's personality that it was easy to play, because this role she nailed as well. It's just really, really well done.
Yes, very, very well done. I really like that. I like the kind of recasting of Jean Grey here. I'm curious. What do you think her role is going to be in future movies? What do you see the X-Men looking like in future movies? Are they just going to continue to? Are they going to like recast everything and then just continue to use Hugh Jackman until he just drops dead as a corpse, and everyone else around him will be new? How are the X-Men going to look, and how's that going to play in Doomsday?
I think we're going to see the X-Men begin to form. I don't know in Doomsday that we're going to see a lot of the X-Men. We might see we'll see parts of it for sure. We already know from the trailers that there's going to be Professor X and Magneto. We're going to get all of that. But it's interesting to think about how they're going to do that when they haven't done the groundwork of making us invested in any of the characters outside of this tiny bit for Jean Grey. I mean, they're setting up Tobey Maguire to be Tobey Maguire. Well, they're setting up Peter Parker to be a little bit of a mutant of some sort. I'm guessing we're going to have variations of what types of mutants people are.
Yeah.
So it's a little confusing that we're going to get the full Xavier's school, but we don't have the background to understand it. Maybe it's going to be from an alternate universe where they're already established. We're just going to be introduced to them, and they're somehow going to collapse in Secret Wars, and or anyway. I think we're going to see the X-Men, but we're not going to have Wolverine for a while. I think we won't see him until Hugh actually ages out of playing the role. I don't think that they're going to try to do two, and there's no way that they're going to make him drop out before he wants to drop out. And I think Jean will be one of the leaders. It'll take her a little while. We're going to need she's going to be a reluctant leader at first, and ultimately kind of one of the core pieces of who they are. Because when she becomes Phoenix, the power scale that she's on is nuts.
Well, see, that's my other wonderment here. Do you think are we going straight to Phoenix here, or
Mm.
are we going to get her in her
I don't
X-Men
think so.
phase?
I think we're going to see
Yeah.
her struggling first with who she is and what institution she's going to align with and who she's going to consider bad people and who she's not. There's going to be some rebellion going on. Her character is way too good to not let us have some of that. But then, I mean, there'll be a point where we get the Phoenix, but I'm not looking forward to that because at that point there's so much power. It's kind of
Yeah.
like when Wanda got to her ultimate level. What do
Yeah,
you
like
do with her
what
now?
point? Yeah, what
Yeah,
point
we
is
don't we've
is
not
there?
really seen any of her since then because what do you do with something that's that powerful? You know, person
Yeah.
who has that immense kind of power. And so I don't think we're going to get to it fast. I think they're smart enough to see that once she hits that, she becomes invincible. She becomes this juggernaut that you can't do anything about. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we've seen that in
What do you
film.
think is going to be her role? What do you think we're going to see from the X-Men?
Yeah, and we've seen, the Dark Phoenix storyline play out in film
Mhm,
too, and it didn't do well,
mhm,
and it
mhm.
wasn't fun to watch. So,
I'm not
yeah,
sure. I'm not sure they did it well though.
well, they
I, th-
didn't.
I think there's a way that you can do it that would be engaging.
Well, I mean, I think they did it in the animated series in a way that was
Oh,
like
the animated
temporary too.
series. You are
Yeah.
correct. Yes. Yeah. I agree.
So yeah, they can do it, but carefully. I think that it looked like she was kind of going upstate in
Hmm.
kind of the final scene. So I'm wondering if
Hmm.
she's going to
Heading
Xavier's
to the
mansion.
might
Yeah,
be.
and I would love to see like a new generation of X-Men. I'd love to see some new X-Men movies, and I'd love to see the X-Men play a role in the future of the MCU now that they
Yeah.
can, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I think the the hue of it all is
Uh,
a part of it. Like that's
yeah.
a harder role to cast. People are super attached
Yeah.
to him, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, in a way
Yeah.
that I don't think people are as attached to the other characters
I
being
can't think of
recast.
another X-Man that we've been introduced to, except for right now. Maybe what was his name? That we just. I can't believe I just banked on the card thrower.
Oh,
What
Gambit, the
Gambit?
Gambit
I,
with Channing Tatum.
he's so good at the role. He's wanted it forever.
Yeah,
He's older than the X-Men should be, so that's a little
yeah.
bit of a setback. But man, he's so good in the role, and I love. That's the only other one that I think they might have a hard time recasting. That
That's true.
they might
He's
have to.
fun to watch.
He is. They might have to do a bunch of X-Men without Gambit showing up. You know what I mean?
True. Give him his own movie. Let him try a Gambit
I agree.
thing.
I agree.
You know
No. Mhm.
why not
Completely agree.
Gambit movie?
All right. So listen, we've geeked out. We've gone on and on, but we need to figure out what we're going to watch next week. Honestly, it's a little bit of a slow week for new releases in sci-fi fantasy world, but there is one coming out on Friday from Netflix that I spoke to you briefly before we got live here. That we both kind of said, let's give it a shot because we don't do a lot of the sort of horror thriller sci-fi and I think it's good to give it a shot from time to time. So Netflix new show is The Last House, and it's a sci-fi survival thriller that follows a family that they basically suddenly find themselves sealed inside of their own home with no way out. It forces them to figure out how to survive with supplies that are going down. And at the same time, they're doing all of this. They're trying to uncover this, like whatever this mysterious, weird ass force that's trapping them. And it turns out possibly the entire world in their houses. So, I mean, it's an interesting scenario, I think. Don't you?
Yeah, let's do it. It sounds fun. The big
All right.
Netflix streaming thing. Let's do it.
There you go. All right. So next week it's going to be The Last House. Y'all try to watch it, and that way you'll be ready. We won't have to have you pause when we tell you there's going to be spoilers ahead. But thank you. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being a part of this show. We love doing it. It's you guys that let us do it, so we're just grateful. We're so grateful for you guys. Thank you. And with all of that said, and a little bit of a longer show than normal, I'll just say we'll see you the next time on the Moonshine Jesus Show.
Moonshine Jesus.